It's Karen from Divorce Workshop. We have a special guest today. Neepa is joining us. We're going to talk about co-parenting and long distance.
It's called Just Separated, and it's going to be able to pre-order October 2nd. So we're excited about that. So hopefully Neepa will join us soon to have a great discussion today. I'll try. Oh, hi Neepa.
Hi, Karen. How
How
are
are
you?
you?
Good.
Good. I'm interested to have this talk today because I know co-parenting is hard enough as it is. Like to do, you start the divorce process,
Mhm,
and co-parenting is a big adjustment. And until I
mhm.
think um, until it happens, you actually realize how much of an adjustment, how much you have to learn. But
True.
when you
True.
said let's
True.
do this topic about long distance co-parenting, I figure that's going to be a whole wealth of different things, a whole other different aspects that we would like to talk about today. So I'll leave it to you. First of all, I guess give a brief introduction as we normally do, and
Sure.
then we'll start.
So, I'm a certified divorce coach, and I specialize working with immigrants and expats who are going through divorce because they face additional challenges,
Mm-hmm.
as we just discussing that long distance.
Oh, I think the internet just cut her off. I'll re-invite her there.
Did
You
oh
just
yeah,
got you just got cut
disconnected?
off. Yeah. It's just
Yeah, and
probably
then
internet.
when it started playing the recorded stuff. So I was like, what was that? Okay, anyways. So yeah, so being a divorce coach, I specialize working with immigrant and expats as they face
Mm-hmm.
additional challenges, and I have been through that being an immigrant, so I understand what are the gaps and what are the challenges that they face, and that's what motivated me to be a coach to help others. So that's where I am. And in today's topic, it's really important for everybody because when we have kids in picture, everybody wants to ensure that the best interest of the kids is maintained, right?
Mm-hmm.
And especially in terms of the long distance co-parenting and with cultural differences, it is
Mm-hmm.
even challenging. So in the last topic we had about the cultural differences,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to continue with that for co-parenting before we jump
Mm-hmm.
on to long distance, because in cultural when there's a cultural difference between the two parents, that again plays a huge role in the co-parenting. When we say some countries and some cultures have like a joint family culture where co-parenting is not only limited to the parents or mother and father, but the extended family also plays a very huge role in upbringing of the kid or parenting of the kids, right? And if say one parent is from that culture and the other parent is from say a culture where it's a nuclear family culture where it's more importance to just the mother and father of the kid, not like too much extended to other families, and then there could be a clash,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the extended family, if it is that culture, they have expectation, certain expectation that the kid should be raised in a certain way, kid should have some cultural values or family values inculcated, but the other parent may not be aware about it, right? So there is always the thing that we work with the client, that okay, how to deal with such things. And
Mm-hmm.
especially at that time, communication plays a very good role. Not only, so when I say communication, it includes communicating to all the professionals you are working with. Say for example, you are working with an attorney or a therapist or a coach like me, that you communicate with them that these are the expectations from my
Mm-hmm.
culture or family standpoint, how we can ensure that are, or they are also, those cultural points are also covered or honored when there
Mm-hmm.
is a child custody agreement, right? And at the same time, we need to ensure that the extended family should be aware that everything what they expect cannot be possible, because there are certain legal rules in this country. Maybe in your country the rules can be different, but if we are taking divorce in this country
Mm-hmm.
and say for example it's a 50-50, then the other co-parent also has equal role to play.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to communicate to your extended family as well that everything which you are expecting may not be possible
Mm-hmm.
in this co-parenting. So like communication plays a very crucial role to include both legal as well as cultural aspects in your child custody agreement or in your co-parenting on a daily basis. So I just wanted to include that before we
No, I think,
talk about the long
yeah,
distance.
I think it's really interesting you say that, because I do have a client where it's exactly like that. And you really need to work that out, because one culture, family, extended family have expectations, right? And they need to know that that may not be completely the way it's going to look like after the divorce, right? Like,
Exactly.
you have to, as we know, if we can, try to negotiate through
Mm-hmm.
our divorce. So there's also give and take, right? So I
Exactly.
think it's really important that you mention that you also have to talk for certain culture to the extended family and let them know what's going on, because sometimes they have major, as you said, major expectations, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So true. So that being said, it also that when there are two different countries or two different religions altogether from both the parents, right? And say for example, one is Christian and one is Muslim,
Mm-hmm.
then we also have to ensure that the child has respect for both the
Mm-hmm.
cultures, both the religions. So even if you are Christian and child is with you, but when there is a say Eid is a big
Mm-hmm.
festive for Muslim, then you have to ensure that the child has respect,
Mm-hmm.
interest, and child also gets involved in celebration of Eid with the other co-parent if they are together. I mean, in local, but if they're long distance, but that the same principle still applies.
Mm-hmm.
That you ensure that the child has the same knowledge, interest, and everything in it, that respect is there. It's not that
Mm-hmm.
only I'm now Christian and I'm in a different long distance, the other
Mm-hmm.
parent is not here, so I can just no, because you are just working everything in the interest of the kid. They are going to grow in future, so they need to have that kind of respect. And so that's how like cultural differences play a major role in co-parenting, and it's parents important role that how they co-parent their child,
Mm-hmm.
including all these different aspects.
You can put that in the parenting plan,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's a
you
very
can.
important one to put in,
Yes,
about the faiths,
correct.
right? Of, yeah.
So yeah.
So what are the other, yeah, so what are the other things you see? I mean, except for the obvious, which is, okay, they live way away, airplane away for a certain amount of months, or, I mean, that's the obvious, because that's going to cause a lot of grief or
Mhm.
a lot of change in the family dynamics. But what else do you like? What other, we talked about cultural, and that's very, very important, and to keep the faiths and stuff. But what else do you see?
So another thing I see is like sometimes, when especially I have seen this more in mothers, that if they're immigrants and expats and they feel that, okay, I want to go back to my
Mm-hmm.
home country because I have more family support, I have more everywhere that way my child will also be taken care because I have other people to take care while I'm taking care of my other stuff. So they would prefer to go back, but there are
Mm-hmm.
certain and that becomes long distance co-parenting, but there are certain complications that they need to be aware about. Being it could be, say, what is in the child custody agreement? Did your court allow you to do that in the
Mm-hmm.
agreement? If not, did you involve like did you incorporated that condition in the child custody agreement, or is the other co-parent ready to let you do that,
Mm-hmm.
and when especially when they're the kids are citizen of this country and if you want to take them out of this country, then again you have to ensure that you check all the consequences checkbox before you do that and start your co-parenting. So this is before co-parenting, but as long as we talk about co-parenting, the best thing I have seen in some of my clients who do is you set some time aside for, say for example, Saturday, every Saturday evening, 2 hours is for the other co-parent who is in a different country or different place, and then you have that exclusive 2 hours video call or whatever the time is for that, that the child doesn't feel left out. The
Mm-hmm.
child doesn't feel that, oh, my parent is away, so there is something missing. That something is the baseline, that should be taken care. And at the same time, when there are vacations, school vacation or anything, the good thing that I have seen, the positive outcomes is that both the parents take the child to some other destination for vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Like both parents don't have to be together, but at least having vacation to at some other third place, that really helps the child to use the vacation, as long as the child has a feeling that my other parent is with
Mm-hmm.
me. That really helps the child get that fulfillment or feel complete as having both parents around. So these are some basic things are really really important. At the same time, in especially immigrant and expat, I have seen that if one parent and child in other country, it is possible. Let me give an example. Say mother goes back with the kid to the home country, and and the grandparents of the other co-parent as well. I mean, the parents of the other co-parent are also in that country.
Mm-hmm.
So all four grandparents are in this country, in that country. So you need to ensure that the other grandparents are also given equal importance. The kid also spends some time with other grandparents, so that the kids doesn't feel left out from the other family, and at the same time the other grandparents have that equal value and respect for the guy. That also actually helps both the parents
Mm-hmm.
to co-parents in a better way. So
Mm-hmm.
there are some pointers or gaps which you can fill up for the kid to feel much better. So yeah, these are some of the points I would really like to ensure
Yeah, I
when
was
I work.
thinking about the time zones would make
Yeah.
it difficult for, because I know with a lot of co-parenting, they pick it maybe before bed, where
Mm-hmm.
they actually talk about their day with younger kids. I mean, with tweens and teenagers,
Yes.
they just text anyways now. So,
Yes.
so you can do that as on your
Exactly.
transitional time, right? When you don't have them, but with time zones, it makes it harder for you to talk to them every day.
Yes.
Um, I mean, again, with tweens and teenagers, they all are on the texting
It's a
anyways,
different
so
thing.
it's a different
Yes.
thing. But so I get why you're saying like pick a day that is,
Yes.
this is mom's or dad's time
Yes.
right now, and that's it.
That's
So
it.
because time zones would be different. And I
Yes.
also want to mention that it could be hard for some of the parents that don't have them as much, that they're not in seeing their school events or their
Mm-hmm.
activities. So I guess there's that. You could also, I guess maybe you could videotape it for the parent or
Yes.
something. I mean,
Yes.
depending how amicable we
Yes.
are, but it would be just something I
Exactly.
thought about.
Yes, yes. So that's another thing, that good that you brought it up. Sometimes when it is in the time zone where it's possible to do the video call, of course, it's all based on what is your custody agreement, how amicable it is. But even if, so I always recommend make it as amicable as possible just for your kids. You don't have to be amicable if you can't, but for the kid, you do it. So when such culture, say some events are there, and when you are in the time zone when you can do the video call, that really helps, to do all those stuff. Because, and that's why it is when we work with the clients, we always list out all the stuff, including when both the parents are needed in any smallest thing, say for example annual functions, or kids any activity, or some sports events or
Mm-hmm.
games where kids are heavily involved, and what are the time zones, and can the other parent be part of it
Mm-hmm.
even virtually, because these days virtually availability is really really possible. So that way, even the parents feel so good about it,
Mm-hmm.
and that helps them motivate, do more amicable co-parenting,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a good point that you brought, that less people do this thing, or if not possible, just record it and
Mm-hmm.
then sit with the child and the parent and discuss about it, that the
Mm-hmm.
child feels it's so lively, having that recorded stuff, and having a, say, half an hour just discussing about, say, game or function or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, so that it feels good to the child. Yes,
Yeah.
it's good that you brought that point.
Yeah, I just, co-parenting is to, even to try to get the parenting schedule and the plan, it's a lot of work. And I know that. And I'm just thinking, my goodness, this adds, again, as we talked about many times, Neepa, is it just adds like this added more stuff they need to know when you're thinking about going, like living back at home, like with your home, to changing, like, well, what if your citizens at here and you're, you know what I mean? So just everything like we've talked about. And that's why it's important you come on and talk about these things, because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many more layers that you have to
Yes.
think about, right?
Yes. Yes.
In an
Lot of stuff. Mm-hmm.
in an overwhelming time already, right?
It is, it is. And so it again, I have seen that what people do or should do is, if the distance of both the countries is not that far,
Mm-hmm.
you again set up time sometimes at every 3 months, a parent visits the child, if possible, and then spend this a weekend, or a week, whatever is the possibility or ideal for them, and
Mm-hmm.
spend time exclusively for the kid. So it's like usually we do every week, if we are local, you do 1 week, or 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Rather than that, at least every 3 months, you spend 1 week
Mm-hmm.
with the child, if possible, because in not all the countries are very far. Like, say, for example, in Europe, all the countries
Mm-hmm.
are pretty close to manage
Mm-hmm.
such stuff. But that definitely helps, especially as you mentioned, when the child is in the age group of, say, 5 to 10 or up to 12. When they're teenagers, it's understandable because they have their own activities, they have their
Mm-hmm.
own stuff. So texting or video call can be sufficient for
Mm-hmm.
them because they're emotionally mature, I would say. So, but when the kids are at the smaller age, these things are really important because they cannot speak, but
Mm-hmm.
in their subconscious mind, everything is there. So when
Mm-hmm.
you provide what is needed, it really builds up their like emotional muscles for the future. So
Mm-hmm.
these are, of
Yeah, and
course,
resiliency
extra
too.
efforts. Yeah, these are extra efforts for the kids, but it's there for in their own benefits.
Now, before we wrap it up, how many is this is this pretty common that, like, I know you don't know like the pure numbers, but I wondered how many people actually, if you know, like if you've worked with, obviously you've worked with some, that they actually do leave. And because I get it for some ways, like we talked about how the support systems, when you're going through so much, having that support system is really great, right? Well, we should really talk about that next
Mm-hmm.
live, but um how many do you get? Like, how many, like, is there a lot of people that leave and go home and you have this co-parenting long distance?
Um, I have two answers on that. How many? That
Mm-hmm.
number could be less compared to how many really want to do it. Because those who want to do is that number is high, but because of certain restrictions, as I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
disagreement of the co-parent to let the kid go, being the citizen, or the other parent not being confident about taking the kid out because of the certain rules and regulations, they are little scared to do that. So that looking at all this limitations, the
Mm-hmm.
actual number is, I would say, is not too high.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if these restrictions are, not there, definitely the number would increase. That I can confidently tell you.
Yeah, because it does sound much harder process
Yes,
to
yes.
do, like, and plus again it has to be a decently amicable
Mm-hmm.
relationship to
Mm-hmm.
trust the fact that they're going to go back
Yes,
home, and
yes,
that co-parenting that's here can trust the fact that they're going to still be able to have a close
Close
relationship, even if
relationship. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yep.
I can see with more moderately high conflict, it might not
True.
might not
True.
work.
And especially the other parent who is in this country are more fearful, because if the parent takes the kid out, what if that other parent doesn't follow the rules or the orders as per, because they're out of jurisdiction,
Mm-hmm.
right? When they're out of jurisdiction, maybe this court will not be able to take any actions
Yeah.
against that, so they are really scared and fearful of letting the other parent go. So that's that. But then also, I have seen, this is very, very, I don't know, I would say it's sad to share this, but I have seen in some cultures, fathers just let the kid go, and then, okay, I have nothing to do with it anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
they just completely gets disconnected with the child and the mother, and then the mother, of course, goes back to the home country sometimes. But that's very unfortunate for the kid, that then there is no
Mm-hmm.
close connection with the father anymore. And I have seen that too. Of course, that number is not too high, and I have not worked with many such clients as of now,
Mm-hmm.
but I have seen this trend too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's something, another topic too, right?
Yeah.
Because I've seen it as well, right? Where
Yeah.
it kind of not often, because
Hmm.
there's a lot. Most dads are pretty good dads, but
Yes, they are.
there are some. I mean, there's cases on both sides of moms and dads, but yeah, I've
Hmm.
seen that where it's just kind of myself. I've seen that as well, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate
Yep.
because
Yep.
it's it takes only one stable parent, so
Exactly.
as research has said many times, but it's still,
Exactly.
it's a lot of grief there, right?
True. 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 So yeah, it's like it's a wide subject, and it has
Hmm.
a lot of aspects in it to discuss. But like, these are some of the pointers that can help people who are listening to
Yeah,
us.
yeah. So if anyone has any questions, just put in the comment. Otherwise, Neepa, do you have anything you want to tell anybody that you're up to?
Uh, No, I'm just good. Again, I will just repeat that whatever you do as co-parents, just check what is in the best interest of your kids. Even if as co-parents, you may not be good as partners, but be good as co-parents for your kids. That's the only thing I would like to say.
So, I just want to say, so, the workbook's coming out, our workbook Just Separates coming
Mhm.
out, and in there is an exercise called front stage, backstage. So the
Okay.
front stage is how you act in front of your
Yes.
co-parent and kid is different what you act in the backstage when you don't have the kid around. So, and you're
Mm-hmm.
upset at your ex, be upset at your ex with your friend, with your coach, with, your family without your children around. But in front of your co-parent, when you're at an
Yes.
event or you're at an activity or you're transitioning days, you have to do the Oscar winning performances and just be like,
True.
so that's one I just
True.
wanted to point it out because you said that and I go, that reminds me of that exercise
Yes. So
because
important.
it's so important
Important.
because kids feel everything,
They feel
you know?
everything. Sometimes based on their age, they cannot share or speak up, but
Yep.
it's there in their mind, and in long run, you can see the impact in their behavior, or in
Mm-hmm.
their anywhere that you see the impact of it. So it's better to, as you mentioned, to be very careful
Mm-hmm.
in front of the kids.
Yeah. Just try to be mindful. We know it's
Mhm.
tough, especially at the beginning, but
Exactly.
it's a tough thing, but you do get better with practicing
Yes.
doing that.
Whereas
So, all
this
right.
whole journey is challenging. You just need to do your best
Yeah.
to get the best
Yeah.
outcome. That's it.
Yeah. And really practice self-compassion
Yes.
a lot,
Yes.
because we've all made mistakes.
Yes. It's the most important thing, that first you take care of yourself with self-compassion, then you take care of others, right? So it's
Yeah.
applicable at every single step.
Right.
Hmm.
So you want to give everyone your web page,
Sure.
website?
Sure. So I just was typing where it is. You can reach
Well,
out to
this
me for your consultation call, the complimentary call, and we can discuss and we can see how best we can work together in your journey.
all right, great having you on again, and
Thank you.
thanks everybody for joining. Thanks, Neepa.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Karen. Bye. Take care.